G'day guys and gals. So this evening we have Barrenlands Abandoned Mine. That is this map right here. So Big Bob and Mudrock. Although they're not really the bosses. The bosses are those golems that prod through. But anyway, the daily contract is this Preceptor's Terrain 3, which does make things a little difficult. To round up my 8, I'll be going with low efficiency, executive contract, and environment, high value target. Now, with those particular contracts in mind, you may think my squad's a little bit funky, but bear with me. Texas and Myrtle round out my vanguards. You'll notice both using skill 2. Myrtle's going to be being used as sort of like an on-off healer. Gravel, so a fast redeploy. I would use Gravel simply because her cost is tripled. So you kind of want to make that as cheap as humanly possible. I've spec to here. I have skill 1. You can use skill 2 if you like. It's really up to you which of the two you would like. I would probably use skill 2 if you're feeling a little bit hairy. Ethan with skill 2. Suzuro with skill 2, so you're probably going to need Suzuro for that second skill. Gummy is not super required, but can help, so if you want to bring Gummy, you can. I would probably stick to bringing a healing defender of some sorts, so Spot, for instance, if you'd prefer. I've never really found the need to have Gummy in super high, but I think it's more of just like a precautionary hail just in case the RNG doesn't go the way I would like it to. Amia with skill 3. Yafyala with skill 3. Thermite, just to help us early on. Utage with her deploy skill. And Steward is kind of just a backup. So, let's get into it. If you're not happy with bringing Steward, you can always bring Catapult or someone else like that. It doesn't really matter. Catapult is probably better now that I've stop and think about it, but that's okay. So if this does help you out, guys, please leave a sub. That really helps me out. So what we're gonna do is this and this. Now this does kind of rely on having high level operators, which is not particularly great, I understand that, but to get the damage we're going to need, unfortunately that's the way things are. So I'm just waiting now for Ethan. So we're going to stick in Ethan. Now you can face Ethan left or right, it doesn't really matter. Now, I'm going to just deploy Steward here, facing up. And that's because I just want to get a little bit of damage on this big golem. Doesn't matter how much, as long as it's something. So I'm going to put Thermite in, and I'm going to use Yakyala's skill, suck on my vanguards. So Ethan, this is the RNG I was kind of referring to. Ethan's RNG is never really great. So Steward out as you saw, Suzuro in. Yafyala has done her round, so now we're relying on Amia. We're not going to use her skill though. What we are going to do is wait until the golem moves forward, and then we're just going to do a quick 1-2, so make sure you've got those deployment points. And as you can see, that golem is fairly much cactus. So there it goes. Now that first golem is the only one we need to delay. Sorry, my bad. The only one you have to kill. The second one we're going to delay. We have 3 defense points, so what we're going to do is, whether or not that golem gets through, completely irrelevant to us. So we're going to swap Inspector now. Keep in mind those high deployment points, costs. Coming in. If you need to use Ethan's skill, by all means, use his skill. Especially helps if he stops them right in front of Armia, so Armia can actually hit them. We've also got Myrtle as a healing skill, so we've got that to keep Spectre topped up. So basically, I'm just obviously letting this run its course. I'm not too fussed about what happens. If you want to put Steward in here just to sort of help out, you can. The only issue with putting Steward in there is you're going to have these guys, these casters, and they will, obviously, as you can see, throw stuff at Steward. But if you're happy to pull him out and replace him and all the rest of it, then by all means, go for your life. So you kind of want to have Myrtle's skill ready for when this Defense Crusher comes through. I have held off on Yaphiela's skill as long as I'm comfortable holding off on it. Now, obviously, as I said, I'm not too concerned about this golem. So, him not getting hit by Yaphiela's skill, I'm not fussed about it. I don't particularly care. But I do want to delay him. That's the big one. So I kind of want Ethan to hopefully be able to sit there and block him as long as possible. I'm going to use Texas again to try and block. Now I can see that Ethan's doing a decent job on that guy, so I'm not going to be too fussed about it. Texas's skill. There we go. At this point in time, you can maybe get away with using Spectre's skill, but probably do so sparingly. Because remember that she's going to have that huge delay after the fact. So once again, we can use Utage. I'm going to wait for this guy to get all the way up there, so I can sort of cycle Myrtle's skill at the same time. So, there we go. He's stuck at the block, so I'm going to deploy Utage. Now I can use that. So I am slowly working this guy down, because obviously I can't do anything else with Utage otherwise. I'm going to deploy my fast redeploy, just again to keep him there. Ethan's skill, because I want to try and hold Big Bob there. Okay, that's that. Now this is where Armia is going to start getting hit, so I'm going to use Armia's skill, and Armia should start targeting Big Bob, which is entirely fine. And I want to save Spectre's skill if I can. For when Mudrock comes down. So Mudrock's in range. So now we're going to start using everybody else's skill. Army's gone down. I'm not fussed about that. So hopefully Myrtle will survive long enough for Spectre to get back up. She has, thankfully. Replace with a fast redeploy. Mudrock goes through, we lose 2. So I'm going to put Steward here just to start working on this. But not great, but is what is. And Effie to finish it off. So you can get through that without losing, with killing Mudrock. But it's kind of, in most scenarios, it turns out to be either you let Mudrock through or you let that last golem through, or the stars align and you do get both of them. I did a bit of testing, obviously, before I sorted this out. I haven't ever enjoyed using Spectre, but the problem I always had was if you use a tank or a defender of some sort, you'd never end up being able to get enough damage on everything else coming through. So if you're one of those people who are happy to, throw 6 stars at the problem, if you've got Blaze, use Blaze. Blaze will sort it out really nicely. Blaze obviously skill 2. Otherwise, yeah, that's probably all I can really help out with. Simply because of the cost restrictions here, you're kind of restricted with just forcing high cost guards in to sort of help out, because no matter what you do, the guards are going to kind of be where the bulk of your damage comes from. And yeah, so that's all I have, unfortunately, for sort of tips and tricks. I don't have a lot of tricks with this, just because the precipitous terrain kind of means that you're stuck with either no casters or no guards. So it's, it's one of those situations where you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. I mean, if you want to use like support operators, then you can use things like Praminix, which will lower defense ratings and values. That gives you a little bit of option to use, say, Silver Ash, for example, with skill 3, which unfortunately is a lot slower than using Effie. So yeah, I mean, it's whatever you feel like trading off, really, unfortunately. So I hope that helps out, guys. I'm sorry I can't really give you any sort of defining ways to sort of power your way through this, but by following this, you will clear it. You'll lose some of those defender points, but whatever. If Ethan sort of sits there and the RNG gods align and Ethan holds them there for a lot longer, then you can get Mudrock down as well. But anyway, RNG be what it may with Ethan, and I hope it helps out, guys. So if it does, as I say, leave me a subscribe, because that helps me grow the baby channel. And if you don't mind filling up that like list of yours, shoot me a like as well.